everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are here live, it is Wednesday, and you know what that means. It is Spirit Wisdom Wednesday, where we gather to hear together in the healing space and allow some beautiful spirit wisdom to flow through. If you are familiar with me, you will know that I have just moved into a brand new historic house. The lower level is an apartment, and that is where I am living now. So we have kind of a different energy going on here. Thank you for your patience when I was getting set up with the lighting. Typically I sit right in front of a window and I don't need extra light. And I don't even have all my crystals unpacked yet. So I was like trying to find this ring light. So thank you for hanging on if you join me here live. So today, Spirit wanted to talk about spontaneity and how that can enrich your spiritual life. So I'm interested, is this something that you've ever thought about before or anything that you have noticed? Please let me know in the comments below. So the first thing that they're talking about with spontaneity is holding room or making space for spirit to intertwine with your daily activities and for extra messages to show up and pop up for you. So a lot of times for me, they will ask for me to leave pockets of time open. So it's like saving up pockets of time and then leaving them and then being okay if nothing happens. But if something does pop up during my little window of, downtime, I'm able to say yes. Or if I, get a sudden urge to go on a drive or go into a different store or something like that, sometimes that's spirit talking to you that, you need to cross paths with somebody or come across an object or something that you need for later on in your life. A funny story I have about this is I was in TJ Maxx and they pointed at a big binder and they were like, you need that. And I was like, for what? What are you talking about? But I just got it anyway. And then a couple months later, I started my business and now that's my business binder. So sometimes they just want to help make things a little bit easier, help you get supplies ahead of time and things like that. Another thing they're talking about with spontaneity is balance between spontaneous action and planned action. And they're calling it mindful spontaneity. And for mindful spontaneity to happen, you kind of need both. So they're saying, like, imagine all you did was spontaneous stuff. It would be, that is possible, depending on where you are in your life. But for most people that have some kind of schedule to follow or some kind of job or something like that where there's a grind, for most people that's not possible. But also the biggest point they're making about that is it's more difficult to infuse meaning, like your own meaning into your life, if that makes sense. So ideally, you'll feel fulfilled and feel like you are moving towards your purpose in your life, right? That's what feels enriching. That's what feels fulfilling. But if all you're doing is just stuff on a whim, it's hard to grasp that feeling. But then on the flip side, if you plan too much, and sometimes I do this, it's almost like you're holding too tightly to outcomes. So it's like they're showing me a teeter-totter, and it's like, you plan, but then you don't plan. You plan to have pockets of time where there's nothing planned, if that makes sense. So it's like you can, another way to do it, they're saying, is like in a step-by-step process. If you're a step-by-step person like I am, you can start with like the first 3 steps and plan that and know that either, something else may happen to change the outcome or just leave it up in the air, leave the last couple of steps up in the air. And say, Spirit, hey, I really want to invite you into this process. I'm going to leave these last 2 steps open just in case something else happens. I want the outcome to be for the highest good of all, not just what I view as like successful in some way. So that feels like maybe a more specific message for somebody here. And of course, you know how they are. They will kind of tease me a little bit because that's how I personally need to receive messages sometimes. So I was wanting to take notes and they were like, well, that's not very spontaneous. So they only gave me a couple things to talk about. So let me see what else they're saying. Oh, they're talking about the inner child and they're saying, and they're showing me like a candle flame, and like when that gets dimmer, it's like the spark of spontaneity, right? So it's like a kid will be like, you know, I want a snack, or I want to go play, or let's go to the park. And it's like, if you totally shut that down, if you shut down your spirit of spontaneity, oftentimes what happens is the inner child is affected, which is really touching, and like motivation to keep the spark or the spirit of spontaneity alive in your life. It's like spending time with your inner child and reparenting yourself in a couple different ways. And then also, oh, this is interesting. So I don't know where they're going with this message. I'll deliver the first half of it and I'll check back in with them. So this is kind of another demonstration of spontaneity in a way. Say that you're wearing sandals and a nice dress and you are walking from your car to the office and it starts raining. It would have been nice to have an umbrella, but it's okay to not be aware of every single scenario that could possibly happen. Because if you prepare for rain, snow, sleet, you'd be wearing these, like a lot of extra clothes that you potentially wouldn't need, and these big boots, and you'd be carrying all this extra stuff. So the message is to be careful of planning ahead a bit too much. It can become heavy and it can become bogged down, and it can, there's almost like a self-soothing thing that's going on with planning a lot, planning ahead too much. It's like anticipating scenarios that aren't here yet. They're just saying to watch out, as that may feed anxiety rather than soothe it. It's almost like you can trick yourself into thinking, oh, I'm being responsible, I'm being prepared, and I'm soothing my anxiety. And sometimes Spirit's like, no, it can actually work the other way around. You don't always have to carry an umbrella with you, which was a really interesting way to put that. Let's see if they have any other messages about spontaneity. I have a feeling they're going to pop up in the middle of our group readings as they usually do. Spontaneity. I'm just hearing the word yes. So basically what you're doing is saying yes to life and yes to spirit and yes to the present moment. And if you choke out your schedule so much, if you plan blocks back to back to back to back, you're going to be so tired at the end of the day that all you can do is lay down on the couch, and then your brain is totally off to the point where it's kind of hard for spirit to get through to you, which I've experienced in the past couple days because I just moved into this place and I still have unpacked boxes, or boxes that I still need to unpack rather. So they're saying, you know, don't white knuckle your schedule to just allow pockets of time to be unaccounted for. And it's okay if nothing spectacular happens during that time. Maybe that's what you needed. Maybe you needed some downtime. And one last message that they want to end it on, because they're saying, okay, we've been, you know, talking up here with like time and your perception of reality. Let's talk about something real. Another way to invite spontaneity into your life is to save for it. That seems a little counterintuitive, but it's the same thing as choking out a schedule. You can choke out a budget, right? You don't have to budget out every single penny that you ever bring home. If you have a couple extra dollars laying around, it's okay to just let them lay there and know that maybe an opportunity will come up later. Maybe you have a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time that says, hey, do you want to get coffee? And then you remember that $5 you have in your pocket and you're like, oh, thanks, Spirit, that's what that was for. So that's another sweet way to bring spontaneity into your life and to allow that to shape and polish your spiritual experience throughout your everyday life. So I hope that made sense. I would pretty much channeled most of that. So let me check in. I see a couple comments. Finally found you. Yes, hello, Lola. Hey, Ashley. Oh, girl, you're beautiful too. Thank you so much. Lola said the other day I was wearing a sundress to the office. Then after work, it rained. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh, I stopped and stomped my feet into the puddles. Yes, that's beautiful. So that's awesome that they brought up that scenario as a general message for everyone. but what a sweet way to allow your inner child to come up and to stomp in the puddles and get wet. And it's okay to, you know, get wet and dirty. It's fine. But even as a child, my mom would tell me when I was a baby in the high chair and I would have stuff on my hands, she could tell I would like hold my hands out for her to wipe them. This was before I could speak. And I was like, I don't like my hands being dirty. So that's a fun random thing about me. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ready for our week ahead readings. I will just invite you as usual to tap into your heart space and take a deep breath in. And an exhale out. Let's do one more. Inhale in. And exhale out. And invite your spirit guides to come near you now. And we're just asking which group holds your message for the week ahead. Allowing that message to come through spontaneously. They may deliver that to you in a different way today. You could see, hear, feel, or just know that it's 1, 2, or 3. Or you could feel activated by one of the pieces of selenite that I'm going to show to you. For some reason, interesting, that was a little fly friend that came to see us. So that's odd. I just moved in here. I feel like someone needs to look up fruit fly, or maybe someone's dealing with fruit flies. I feel like that's an animal messenger for someone. Anyway, so selenite is where it's at, is the way that Spirit's wording it right now. These are the first 3 crystals that I unpacked. So let's take a look. Group number 1 just has this like big old blade of selenite. Group number 2, you have the lucky cat. I love her, just got her from Ashley. And group number 3 has the selenite tower. All right, so we should have our group selection. Let's go ahead and start with group number 1. If you chose the selenite stick or blade, however you'd like to call that, let's go ahead and get your week ahead message. We are going to go ahead and use my favorite new holographic gilded edged deck called the Embroidered Forest Tarot. So for group number 1, what do they need to know for their week ahead? They're already wanting me to talk about astrological transits, so I don't know if that's something that you've been looking into, group number 1, but it's like hella retrograde right now. There's like, I don't remember which planets exactly, but I think it's like 5 planets are in retrograde right now at the time that this video is coming out. It's a lot of retrograde, and I can already tell that like funky stuff is happening, like weird miscommunications that don't even make any sense are already happening. So Spirit's giving group number 1 in particular a heads up about that in the week ahead. And your cards really flipped out really fast. So let's see, we have the 5 of Swords. Okay. The Knight of Wands. I know that this is a super bright light. Trying to make sure you can see that. Oh, and the Hanged Man. Interesting. It's like a cocoon there. So already they are, they're showing me this video that I saw earlier today. Or no, it was a photograph. I'm in a couple gardening groups, and a person removed a bush and there was like a huge cocoon left. And she thought that it was like the larva of something invasive, but it's a butterfly. It was a butterfly cocoon. And she was like, you know, making a post like, how do I get rid of this pest? And we're all like, no, it's a butterfly. It's a butterfly, leave it alone. So for group number 1, I feel like there's a situation that may feel like a pest or like something negative is happening, where it just feels like, maybe it feels like your privacy is being invaded somewhere or something like that. and Spirit's trying to say like, no, 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 wait a minute. It's going to be a butterfly. It's going to be a butterfly. Just wait. And I know, like, girl, the Hanged Man is not my favorite card to get. I'll be totally real with you. I'm a Sagittarius, so I'll always keep it real with you. But it means take a timeout. It means a voluntary timeout to allow your perspective to change about something. So let's go ahead and get into these cards. With the Five of Swords in the past, they're talking about some kind of defeat. And then in the present, this is the main energy of the week, is the Knight of Wands. So this is an energy of action, really going for it. It could even be a little bit hasty, but in a way that feels really passionate, and you just feel like you're on fire, like you just want to go, go, go. Maybe you've been planning something for a long time and you're finally taking action, and then you really get on a roll and you just want to go for it. But there's something, and I'm going to have Spirit clarify here for me. There's something that it would really be for in your highest good, in the interest of your highest good, to take a time out with the Hanged Man here and just allow a new perspective to emerge. So let's have them clarify what's the new perspective that would be most helpful for the week ahead. I know you're talking about that defeat, Spirit. Does it have to do with that? Okay, and then you have the Fool. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. It's so beautiful. You can see all the colors there. So this is about a new start. This is something that's either happening, I would say, within the next week, or it's about to happen. Maybe within the next month or two, I'm hearing. So it could be a change that feels forced. Maybe you feel like you had to give up on something and start something else. That could be like a relationship, or maybe a job or something like that didn't work out. But Spirit's really asking and supporting this energy of taking a time out. You might even want to take a couple days off work and just be by yourself, to hang out like this with the Hanged Man. Go in your little cocoon, girl, and take a time out, because this new start, it feels like there's something about it that feels bad. So maybe like the situation that caused it, it could have been for like a bad reason, like a breakup or a job didn't work out or something like that. But Spirit's trying to tell you that the new start is something that was needed for you energetically and for you spiritually. And where you're going is actually going to feel much lighter and more expansive. So I don't know, maybe you're moving. It feels like you'll have more space. So you could even be getting like a bigger car. You could be getting a bigger house, working in a bigger office. It feels like I have more elbow room. But they're saying that may not be apparent to you right now, but trust us. And they're having me shuffle. So there's another card in here for you. Let's see what you got. And the Four of Swords. Okay, that's a great confirmation that it is time to rest, that it's time to lay down. It may be a great time to meditate for you. I'm seeing some journaling going on, maybe some candles, aromatherapy. If you like incense, that's something that I'm seeing. So let me get a couple guidance cards for you. Group number one, we're using the Trusty Angels and Ancestors Oracle. So what would be helpful about this new perspective, Spirit? We're coming out of a heavy situation, and it feels like you're still in transition mode, which is like not a comfortable place to be. But really what Spirit's saying is like, you can use this time to rest. You can use this time to recharge and talk to us, is what your spirit team is saying. Okay, let's see. They may even talk to you at night. So you may have been having some vivid dreams lately, or wake up and see some weird synchronicities and think like, did I just dream that that happened? Maybe some weird things like that are happening to you. They're saying, that's us talking to you. Okay, you got Mother Earth. Feel loved and comforted. Yes, okay. And you got Guardian Angel. You are not alone. Group number 1, your people are really out here. They're really out here for you. They're really talking to you. They're supporting you. It feels like this past situation, you know, typically, traditionally on a 5 of Swords, I guess I shouldn't say traditionally. I see some readers read that as if the person receiving the reading has defeated somebody else, but I don't feel like that's the case. They're making me feel like you, I feel like I felt defeated. Maybe you felt betrayed or stabbed in the back or something. Something wasn't right. Something happened that wasn't fair in the past. And now, you know, you're feeling like you have to take all this action. And again, to summarize, Spirit's like, no, it would be great for you to take a time out, refuel, re-energize yourself, take care of yourself, and get ready for this beautiful new start. So I'm so sorry that you went through that, group number 1. It feels, the word I heard was brutal. It feels like nobody was, it feels like somebody should have been there to console you and that didn't happen. So if this is I feel like one of these people who are here with group number 1, this is a work thing. And something happened that wasn't fair. And it was almost like, where's HR? Where's my, excuse me? Like, that's so frustrating. It feels really frustrating. But Spirit's saying, you know what? Those people are in the past for a reason, because they're not here for your future and they're not who you are. You know, that situation doesn't define you or what you're worth. And they're also talking to you about reparenting. They're talking to you about reconnecting with Mother Earth and your inner child. And they're saying, this is finally about you now. It's finally about you. Look at this. There's butterflies here. There's that energy of transformation again. So the invitation to go in the cocoon, they're saying, can seem scary. It can seem dark. It can seem unfamiliar, but you're going to come out into this beautiful, transformative energy, almost to something. They're saying you're going to feel like it's too good to be true, almost to the point where it's like a little suspicious. But they're saying, no, we're with you. We're sending you signs. We're watching over you. We're protecting you. We're helping you build this new foundation for this new start. And it's not too good to be true. So I hope that was helpful, group number 1. Those were your messages for the week ahead. You know what? They're telling me to look at the bottom of the deck. So let's see. Oh my gosh. Girl, you got the lady. Are you serious? Okay. She usually means money, right? Enjoy growth and reap rewards. So it feels like this has been painful growth. It feels like something had to end in a way that was really uncomfortable in order for this new chapter of your life to even have a chance to exist. And they're saying again, don't step on it. If you've never seen a cocoon before, it's not like a worm. I know it looks weird and kind of gross, but it's going to be a butterfly. So don't step on it. It's okay. So those were your messages for the week ahead, group number 1. For those of you who chose the stick of selenite, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Okay, so moving on to group number 2, we have the selenite lucky cat. Let's go ahead and start with your tarot for the week ahead. Already, Spirit's talking about the dark. They're saying to not be afraid of the dark and to trust that your eyes will adjust. So that's an interesting message right off the cuff. You had a card fall out there. We have the 6 of Cups for you. That card's been coming out a lot lately. So someone here has really been needing maybe one of the regular viewers has been really needing some Six of Cups medicine. That would be like childhood, inner child. Let's see what other cards come out for group number 2. With that message about darkness, it feels like there's some kind of fear that Spirit would like to help you with. It feels like a fear of the unknown, or maybe even loneliness. Okay, let's see. All right, and now we also have the 8 of Cups. Okay, and the 7 of Pentacles. Okay. So the main energy of the week that they're highlighting is this 8 of Cups in the middle here. This is an energy that represents you leaving behind something that no longer serves you. And it usually, Cups is like an emotional energy. I always think of the heart when I think of Cups. So it feels like there's something that you're choosing to leave behind with this 8 of Cups. Now let's look at the cards around it to clarify. We already know that we have this 6 here, which usually represents childhood energy. For you, group number 2, I feel like they're talking about like immediate family members from your childhood. Maybe there's like a sibling or something that's wanting to reach out to you and maybe reconcile something that's been going on. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Girl, this retrograde energy is like, I feel like people are deciding that they are just done dealing with certain things, and that might be you, and I kind of love that for you. So this is a scenario. It doesn't have to be the only scenario. This could be someone from your childhood reaching out to you to reconcile, to offer you some kind of olive branch. So this could be like a sibling or something. Maybe you had a falling out. You may choose to just like not do that. Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe something happened that was like way over the line, and you could just decide, you know what, it's nice that you apologized, or, I wish that things could be okay, but right now I'm not okay. So you're just going to have to accept that. And I kind of love that for you. So that's just kind of a heads up that Spirit's giving you. They're like, you might surprise yourself about how over it that you are. So you might be someone who typically is like a peacemaker, or someone who typically forgives and forgets really easily. And Spirit's like, it's okay if you're not ready to do that right now. And, if someone's pressuring you or making you feel like it's not okay, that's not their decision to make. You are taking care of your own heart and your own inner child. And if you're too hurt to speak with that person, that's totally valid. And it's okay to hold up that boundary and just go, you know what? Not right now. Not right now. That, it doesn't have to mean forever. It doesn't have to be some big dramatic thing, but you could just be like, thanks, but no thanks. Talk to you later. Hope everything's all right. And then they're also rounding out the week with this 7 of Pentacles. So it looks like with your work or your finances, you've been working really hard and you're like, okay, is it time to harvest this fruit yet? I can see some of my work paying off. I can see these good things happening. Like, when's it all going to happen? When am I going to be able, it's almost like if you planted pumpkins, it's like all the foliage came up and all the leaves came up, and you're like, oh, I bet there's a ton of pumpkins in there. And then you look in and there's like only really tiny ones or something like that. And you're like, when can I pick all the pumpkins? So it's like this frustrating feeling of like, it's time. I'm ready to, receive my rewards. It feels like you're actually giving yourself due credit, group number 2. like you are recognizing how hard you work and how much you deserve the results, but they're not quite here yet. And I'm feeling that frustration, and I'm sorry about that. So maybe there's been some kind of delay, but it feels more like things are just moving slower overall than you had expected or planned for. Okay, we got one guidance card. We're gonna choose another one as well. You got Elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. That's interesting with your Six of Cups, with that childhood energy. So the situation that I described before could also be with a parent. Okay, and then you got High Priest, intend and create. Yeah, so I feel like there are some boundaries, maybe with family members, that need to be revisited, just making sure that you are doing your healing and your work and doing what's best for you, and not, you know, allowing communication to happen that's not healthy for you just because someone else feels like it's time. You know, just because someone calls you doesn't mean you have to answer the phone every single time. With the Elder, one message of this card, and I feel like this is for somebody here, is that no, yeah, there's no other word. I don't know why I tried to put another word on it. That could be another thing that you're experiencing, group number 2, like maybe trying to rephrase things or words not coming out quite right. Or you might be around somebody who operates that way, like the words get jumbled or something like that. Overcomplicating. Feels like something has been overcomplicated with a family member. But one of the messages of this card is to know that your ancestors love you and are sorry for any setbacks they may have caused you. And as you can tell, that message always really resonates with me. It kind of makes me emotional because, you know, sometimes you inherit situations that are really painful, and things that are left behind that feel unfinished or unhealed. And so that's a big message that someone is coming through. It feels like there's a specific ancestor here. This person's popped up before. So maybe maybe you've chosen this group a couple times. Someone's here, this really feels like female ancestors. This could be mom, grandmother, sister. It does feel like someone who's older than you. They're apologizing for something. So maybe they've left behind something that's been difficult to deal with. And they just want to let you know that they love you and they didn't mean to put you in that situation, and that they are here now to help in any way if you would like to. You know, again, with these boundaries, for some reason they're really talking about him being like, no, with boundaries, you don't have to talk to or entertain every single person who shows up at your door. So even if this ancestor, even if you're not ready to talk to them, that's okay too. So they are acknowledging that up front, saying, I love you very much. If it's not a good time to talk to you, I understand, and I will be back at a different time. So this is someone who really respects you. Okay, group number 2. There's also something with the nose. So I might just be feeling you on a channeling level, kind of, maybe you're getting choked up or emotional or something like that. Or that could be a sign in the coming week that emotions will be a little amped up. So we have a lot of water here. So just don't be surprised, you know, if you find yourself needing to cry and Spirit's just confirming that's fine, that's totally valid. It's just the emotional body needing to purge something, and they are here for you and holding and protecting you while that happens. Okay, so those were your messages for those of you who chose group number 2 with the lucky cat. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. All right, last but not least, we've got this big ass selenite tower. Unapologetically, for those of you who chose group number 3, let's go ahead and get your week ahead messages. This is a really different energy from the other groups. it feels unapologetic for group number 3, but in a way that's really like spicy, but empowered. So let's see where that energy is taking us. You might have been one of the people I was referencing earlier when I said with this retrograde energy, it feels like people are just over it. So you might be feeling like that too, but almost like in a proactive way. So you might be feeling so feisty to the point where you're like, well, if this happens, it's a no. Well, if this person says something like this, I'm not going to let that happen. So that's kind of the spicy energy that's coming up so far. Let's start with your tarot and see what Spirit has to say for your week ahead. Okay, so for group number 3, we're going to start out with the 2 of Cups. Love to see that. And the Ace of Pentacles. Wow. Look at that baby bunny. And then also the Emperor. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like you are stepping into this energy like you are the Emperor. They are, Spirit is lovingly just pointing out that the spice could get a little overpowering for some people, and that's okay. You don't have to be everybody's cup of tea, but there's some situation that might come up in the next week, they're saying, and I feel like you will know. It feels like there's a situation that's coming up in the week ahead where you're going to be so in this Emperor energy that it may actually come off as kind of harsh to this other person. That doesn't mean you're being harsh. This person could just be in a fragile state, or they could just be, a little more sensitive. So they're asking you to kind of not sugarcoat, but rein it in a little bit for this specific person. And I feel like you are going to know who this is. That was a super specific message. But the main energy they're highlighting for the week ahead is this Ace of Pentacles, which is awesome. This is a brand new start. This is a financial start, potentially. It's also earth energy, so something that's very practical, something that's real and anchored into reality. So this could be a job. This could be moving. This could be literally investing. This could be some kind of gift as well. So that's a really exciting energy. And then also in the past position, we have this 2 of Cups. Let me see. I actually have not seen this one in this deck before, so let me just check it out for a second. Yeah, you might be entering into a new partnership, maybe like a contract of some sort, because we have this deal going on here. In traditional tarot, this shows 2 people sharing a cup. So it could be some kind of business deal with this Ace of Pentacles. So if you've been putting out applications, it looks like you're going to get an offer. And it looks like whatever this new start is has this really big potential for you to really expand and really own and reign over like your situation. So that's pretty exciting. Let's see what kind of guidance that Spirit has for you about that. Okay. All right. So they're kind of clarifying what they were saying earlier about the spiciness of your communication. This is kind of specific. So if this situation resonated with you, like, getting a call back for a job, or if you're interviewing and there's, the message before was like, tone it down a little bit for this person because they might not be able to handle it. You could be someone who cusses or like says the F word or something like that. And it could be like, hold off on that in the professional environment until you know that people around you are comfortable with that. So maybe you're going to be around a new team of people or a new coworker, and Spirit's like, feel that out first before you just like throw a fuck in there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so then we also have the Shield Maiden. Make plans and focus. And then also Trader. Yeah, for a lot of you, this is going to be career related for group number 3. Exchange energy to create abundance. Okay. I'm also seeing a lot of circular energy. And they're talking about the sacred circle. What does that mean? Okay, I just heard the sacred circle. I don't know what that means. Also making promises. So Spirit is really encouraging you, if you need to sign a contract within the next week, to really tap into your heart space while you are signing the contract, to make sure that that is infused with love and light, and that that is coming from a really high vibrational space. You can even say to your spirit guides, you know, please, oh my gosh, that is so crazy. So I was just looking out the window and the street light went out. It flickered and went out as I was looking at it. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So you might be experiencing some electrical stuff. Group number 3, that could be a real cue. Or maybe affirming that somebody has chosen the right group if you have spirit guides that mess with electricity. Wow, that was pretty powerful. So again, with making promises and signing any contracts, just making sure that that is done from the heart space, as he's doing here, and not from like a, you know, this better be a good deal. Like, not like that. They are asking you to do your research. Yeah, they're asking you to do your research. And what's that term? They're saying something like keyboard warriors. And it's not literally being a keyboard warrior, but it's like, if you're interviewing for a place, just make sure that you're really reading the contract and understanding the details first. Maybe look for reviews of people who've worked there. Also take that with a grain of salt, because some people really get on the internet to be upset. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and they're talking about this blue here as being really important. I feel like you're a really strong communicator. And they're saying to wield that as a strength and as a really important tool for you. So maybe you're really charming too. Group number 3. And with the Trader, exchange energy to create abundance. I feel like this is simply just an affirmation that if somebody wants to collaborate with you this week, maybe you have your own business or something like that. This feels unrelated to the interview situation, if you're identifying with that. If someone approaches you wanting to collaborate with you or do something new, Spirit's saying this is a great opportunity to share energy within a circle of people. So maybe you're gonna find like your people this week, which would be really awesome for you. So yeah, just one last, so again, you know, if you do have a spicy communication style and you're around new people, Spirit's like, just feel them out, make sure they're comfortable with that, because you don't want to accidentally like make it a little too spicy for them. Okay, so thank you so much for watching group number 3 with the big ass Selenite Tower. I hope that resonated, and I will see you next time. All right, so checking in here. Oh, Lola, you must have received that emotional message. I feel you, I feel you. My eyes were like prickling with tears. So just know that if Spirit ever brings something like that up during a reading, it is only for the highest good and only to affirm that you are in the right place at the right time. It's never to be upsetting or triggering or anything like that. I always set that intention very, very clearly. So just know that, and that in case anyone else chose that group and they weren't feeling that at the moment, it's never a warning. It's never like something foreboding. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just like to disclose that because some readers are different, but girl, I'm not about that. So I'm always about love and light and the highest good of all. So thank you so much for joining me here and spending time with me today. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.